All right. Hello. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday to you all if you're watching this live or whatever day it is. I hope you're enjoying your day if you're watching it on replay. So glad to have you all here. And I'm so excited for the show today because I am joined by Jennifer Taylor, a new friend of mine and a fellow hypnotist and healer and guide. And I'm so excited to talk more about your practice and some of the unique things you bring into your offerings for folks. Before we get into that, though, I will pull up my website here. And there we go. Give you guys that reminder of my bookings over on my website, as well as all that info about my practice too. Head on over there if you want to know more, if you want to get in contact with me, if you want to book a consultation or a session, I am here for it. And I do want to show Jennifer's website as well. Here, I'll scroll up to the top here. Beautiful website, super well laid out, and got her offerings here and everything laid out there for you. So I definitely encourage you go check out Jennifer's stuff and learn more about her after the show today, because I think you're going to be interested. And I did pull up your YouTube as well, your podcast here, 108 Healing Senses. So I definitely encourage you guys to go on over there and subscribe and check out some of Jennifer's podcasts, because not only am I there, that's me right there. So I was on a couple weeks ago, but all of your guests are wonderful, and I really enjoy your conversations, and your energy is just great. So
Thanks,
without
Jay.
further ado, absolutely. Without further ado, let us. Oh, and last announcement, I almost forgot. Wanted to let you guys know that I have my next workshop coming up. So this is going to be live on Zoom. I'm doing a past lives workshop, and this is really about helping you get that present clarity through the past and through journeying through your past lives or your past and your current lifetime. So it's always interesting working in this group setting and going on these journeys together and what comes through for folks. And it's always fun to have that group energy when you're taking these sorts of explorations. So that's coming up on June 22nd. So I gave you guys plenty of time to plan ahead. I hope to see you all there, 6 p.m. Central Time. For Jennifer, that will be the middle of the night because she's across the pond. So some of you in other time zones, maybe not the best time for you, but hope everyone can join. All right, let me pop this down, and I'll welcome in some of the chat in a moment. But before I do that, I want to welcome you, Jennifer, because you're my guest today, and I'm so excited to chat with you. So for those of you who are not familiar with Jennifer Taylor, she is a visionary soul coach, a conscious creation consultant, and botanical alchemist, amongst other things. And she is the founder and soul of 108 Healing Senses, like I said, the podcast and the healing offering. So Jennifer, I will give you the mic if you want to say anything more about yourself or say anything to the audience before we jump in.
Thank you. It's funny. It's one of those things I'm still getting used to talking about myself and what I do, and it took me quite some time to even concise that down. But I'm so happy for the joys of AI that can help succinct a lot of information when it's even yourself and you're trying to condense what you do. Because if I would definitely consider myself as multifaceted, and I create websites and branding and graphics. That was my original profession. That I would class myself as a conscious product designer, but that can come through physical items or digital, like websites and graphics and stuff, which is fun. And I love to be able to help people to simplify if they're building a business for themselves and trying to figure out which tech bits can help me here and save me time, or shortcuts, because really life is too short to be doing mundane things. And I've worked a lot with myself as well as other souls and other businesses and also charities to be able to succinct their structures and systems and kind of just make things more streamlined and easier, and talking to people at a deeper level. So that's one part of me. And then the other part that we share is the hypnosis, the past life regression, and also the future life progression, which I absolutely adore. And that doing past life regression was a big part of my healing journey. So I suppose a little bit more about me is I have heard this recently. 2012 and 2020 were a very opportunistic times for people to have awakenings, and absolutely that has definitely been my case as well. So my spiritual awakening came about through mental and physical ill health, toxic relationships, dysfunctionality, and really a lack of love at points in the past that I found myself in. So going through this kind of spiritually awakening to the world is not what it actually has been portrayed to be. As a lot of people can get trapped in that 4D, like, oh my god, do you know what they're doing? And it can become a bit of a vicious loop where people just kind of keep going round and round. I still consider it a trauma loop, if you're outraged at what's happening outside of you. But the next step is to be able to go within yourself and find the peace within, because I've noticed this from personal experience and also people that I've been around on my journey, is it doesn't matter how how spiritually awakened you may be, if you're not doing your inner work and you're not realizing the aspects of yourself that require love, that require healing, that require your attention, they tend to start festering and coming through as like dysregulated emotions, dysregulated nervous system, and just this whole plethora of things. So I found past life regression through QHHT, and I found Dolores Cannon when I was back in 2012, and I was reading some spiritual blogs, and I found one about the twin earth and Dolores's post, and it really struck a chord. And I thought there was something in me that said, I need to get a session. I need to do this. And it was a very profound experience, and it did bring me a lot of strength in those moments. And it was a real kind of a reset point on my path. Relationship had just destroyed itself, and everything had changed. Now these days, when things do change, it's a lot easier because I'm not attached to the outcome, and I know that if one door shuts, a better door will open, and I just know that is intrinsic. So that's the kind of me coding my life, is I just know that universe always has my back. I always have my back now, and I choose love as my compass. And if relationships reveal themselves to not be what I thought they were, or people show themselves how they truly are, and things change, I've found a lot more peace within myself, and a quickening of being able to bounce back from situations that a few years ago would have broken me. And now it's not quite water off a duck's back, but it's nearly. So that's been a real bonus about me doing my own inner healing work. And the past life regression sessions immensely helped me along the way. Some of it, at the beginning, it was professional. Later, I had different meditations with other people, and then a little bit later on that, I've had acquaintances at the time. They weren't fully trained, but it wasn't balanced. It wasn't regulated in any particular sense. So because of that, I knew that, one, I was getting information that was helping me, but I wasn't able to resolve it properly and stay physically and mentally balanced afterwards. So I know what it is to not be trained and have the experience versus go through it with someone who knows what they're doing, and they can hold you in that safe container. So there is definitely, I've experienced both sides, and I know the profoundness of being able to journey anywhere in your timeline, whether it be past or into your future incarnation in this lifetime, or connect to your consciousness in just multiple different lifetimes. So, and that's future life regression, which is it is really beautiful. Again, very profound. And it normally calls people that are seeking inner answers, and they're less likely to want to ask other people. It's that I see it as a real empowered tool, because you're not asking someone outside of you to tell you the answers. What you're doing is you're asking for someone that you trust to take you in that space and that journey, so you can actually connect to that information yourself, and then be able to make those deep, profound changes. And that I do see this as part of the future of healing as well. Like, if we're able to heal our soul, past, present, and future are all interlinked. And there was a lot of issues that I had experienced that I had recognized were from past lifetimes. And this was when I was using past life regression. And I was able to notice the patterns. Oh, okay, so I hadn't resolved this here in this lifetime, and then it's just continued on. And that's a lot of it's almost like faulty programming. Like, life is meant to be challenging, but you're not meant to be in pain and suffering for eternity. Like, that's my personal experience, and that's how I stand. And I want to, I'm sure you are the same as well, you want to bring a level of peace, and for people to feel free within themselves, so they can do what they're meant to do, what is in their highest alignment. Yeah, I love being able to facilitate and help people access their own timeline, even getting gifts, like reclaiming gifts from their past. I had so the botanical side of things, I had past lifetimes where I had that was part of what I was doing. So it does come, it comes quite natural to me. And I do use divination tools in order to get the recipes as well. And I try it out, and they all smell beautiful and divine and sacred. Botanical blends, that's what I've created. And I am in the process of starting to think about more products. So I have the blends, but flower essences and essential oils have been pivotal on my self-healing journey, on my awakening journey, and also for like spiritual protection and being able to emotionally regulate myself. Good for, like, fantastic for balancing your hormones, everything.
Oh yeah, I love that you brought up flower essences, because that's been something that I know has been coming up for me a lot, and also for this collective, for the audience. A lot of folks I know have had the flower essences come up, and I have not always worked with them. It's been more of a recent thing, and I just the power that those have. It's I don't want to say surprising, but it's, it's like such a small little jar, and a couple little drops, and the transformation from that is so profound. And same thing with the essential oils. I mean, been using the essential oils longer than flower essences, but it's the same thing, where it's just that powerful. It feels like portal energy, with like the ways that you're able to transform through that. And it's just one of those like physical anchors, or physical. And I know there's multidimensional aspects to these substances, which I want to get into for sure. But yeah, it's one of those ways of like anchoring it into your physical, and kind of bringing it into your reality in a more concrete way than some of the more esoteric or cerebral ways.
Yeah, that's also part of the reason why I founded 108 healing senses, because you have more than the senses that we've been told that we have. Like, eyes, we can see, hear, taste, smell, touch. Those are the bog standard 5 senses, and if you're lucky, you've got those. And then you have the extrasensory things, and that does involve like heightened intuition, which also can go one of two ways. If you have a lot of trauma, sure, you might have high psychic intuition, but it also may be skewed and distorted. So people waking up rapidly, but they've got trauma still with them, can distort the situation. But that's where deep inner healing is imperative, and using botanicals, using essential oils to help assist in that healing process. And they are like frequency keys. So if there's something that you're missing in your life, you can connect to the different botanical blends, different botanical oils that will help to assist you. Even if you're by yourself, you don't have any family, no friends, no relationship, you can do the healing by yourself. I've done that, so I know you can do it. And that's what I want people to feel empowered, that if they know that they've got certain tools that will be able to assist them wherever they are in their journey, to use them, to implement them. It's even things like chocolate. Pure chocolate, pure cacao chocolate is an incredible heart opener. So if you've got, if you're having challenges with your relationships, eat chocolate. Eat the right chocolate. I like having hot chocolates, like cacao powder as hot chocolates, and it might put a bit of maca in, and what some other different things, plant essences that I need at that time. And
Mixing up your potion.
But yeah, I love it. And that's another thing I knew, is like, for years I had this kind of vision of me having I suppose like a almost like really old English, like a few hundred years ago, like cabinet with jars of things in it. And I'm recreating it, but I know I've done this from before. So yes, frankincense and myrrh, beautiful.
Right.
Beautiful.
I love this suggestion from Corbin. Zulu is one of our cats, and she is high energy. I mean, and recently, I mean, in the past, like 6 months to a year, she's had her hackles up like 24/7, like all the time. And it like varies. Like sometimes it's more aggressive than other times, but we've interpreted as she's just really excited and like energized all the time, because she's not like showing any other signs of like sickness or anything. I mean, she's been to the vet and they've said she's fine. So maybe some of the flower essences, or I think you probably want to be careful with like which ones are going to be like okay for them. But
yes, especially working with any animals. So with any essential oil, they normally would say, as a kind of precautionary, have a window open or have doors open. So if that animal comes in and you've got an essential oil humidifier on, they can leave the room if they want. I know it's almost like valerian for cats, but the thing that popped into my head when you person spoke about their cat was, why don't you speak with a cat whisperer, like an animal whisperer? You might have some more information, because
I've been noodling on that one, because Corbin is my husband and
Oh,
Zulu is our cat. Yeah. So he's in the chat supporting us as a mod. So thank you, Corbin.
Oh, thank you, Corbin. Wonderful.
Yeah, so definitely something that we've thought about. And I mean, I can communicate with her pretty well, but there's definitely some things where like I have a harder time connecting, or getting some of the more complex messages. Like I can usually get her simple messages, but some of the more complex ones, it's harder to like relax and let that message come through. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah. No, I'm still practicing. Telepathy with animals, telepathy with trees. Everything takes practice. These are the extrasensory things that take time to switch on. Ideally, it's in a nice gradual way, and you can acclimatize to it. Some people, it's a quick, and they're like, "Whoa, I wasn't. This is different."
Yep.
And unstabilizing. So
Oh yeah, I mean, I think we all have our experiences we come in here for, right? And so some of them are those like lightning fast, profound, wild experiences. Others choose a more gradual and paced like progress. But I think too, there's a level of building up your trust in yourself and your trust in the messages too. I mean, whether it's intuition or doing hypnosis, or your tarot, or whatever it might be. So often it's building up that trust too, I think, in what you're getting, because it can so often be easy to discredit it, right?
Yeah, that definitely comes with that, you know, learning to love yourself from the self-healing, which is I trust my instincts, and I'm also trusting that if it doesn't feel right in a situation, I will listen to myself, and I will also dig into why I don't feel good.
Mhm.
That's really great English, but it's, you know, blunt and simple, you know, that's the kind of phrase that you would say in my head, like, why am I not feeling great about this situation right now? And being honest, that honesty, that's what helps build your inner trust, because it's like you're constantly asking yourself, yeah, but what is it? And then just dig deeper, and then you'll find that, okay, something, this is the reason why it's not feeling right.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
Absolutely. I love this. Britt Merritt saying, "I tap with EFT on my cat. It works fantastic."
oh,
I love that, Britt Merritt.
that's really cute. Cats are very, very intuitive. They work with your energetic bodies. Dogs work with your emotional bodies.
Mm, mhm.
Uh, but yeah, the cats, my family's got cats, and they have this like in beautiful prowess, this kind of meditational sleep, but you know they're doing things, and then they get up and they start kind of looking through you or above you, and you know that there's something there.
Mhm.
The guides, love team, um, sometimes things that shouldn't be there, but they'll let you know, and the cats are fantastic for that because they are very good protectors for the family. You know, you love them, you look after them, they will love you, they will protect you while you sleep and make a racket running around the house, but that is also them protecting the space at
Mhm.
an energetic point. So, yeah, everyone should have a cat or a dog.
I agree. I think the animal support system is
Mm,
so strong, and I definitely. I mean, we had dogs growing up, and then I've had cats as an adult, and I'm looking forward to getting a dog at some point when we have a little more space and can let him like run outside, because
mm,
the whole city walking situation is. I always feel bad for, and I want a big dog. Like I want a bigger dog. I don't want a small dog, and so want to
mm.
be able to give him a good life, right?
Yeah, a nice place to run around and be free.
Mhm. Mhm. All right. Well, we've covered a little bit of ground already for sure. I want to get deeper into the future exploration. And I
Mm,
know my audience is somewhat familiar with future life progression because I talk about
mm,
it often. And I've done a few shows on the future and how I work. And I'm so excited, y'all. I'm doing the advanced future life progression training this weekend. And I'm really jazzed for the extra stuff that's added in. I don't know. Have you done the advanced, Jennifer?
no, I'll be
Oh my
joining you
gosh,
this
yay.
weekend. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome. We're gonna have a fun weekend then.
right.
So yeah, I'm excited about that. But I know you've done the future vision coaching training and you offer future vision coaching.
Yes.
And I just I don't know about y'all, but I have seen just so much coaching content out there. Like so many people becoming coaches, and
Mm,
everyone's got their own ways of working and their own approach to it. And I definitely think there's value in a lot of different people's approaches. But I'd really love to hear kind of what makes future vision coaching unique, and how what are maybe your favorite parts of it, or I guess wherever you want to jump in with that topic.
mm. I love it. So it's stepping more into the realms of the professional arena. So got if you've got a business that you're either in right now, or you want to, you know, there's a business or project or legacy that's about to be birthed, that's where the future vision training comes in, and that coaching, because then it's like, okay, we get really specific about what is your big idea, what's the thing that you get known for, and what are the steps you can take to get there. So it's fab, because honestly, self sovereignty comes from having that inner strength as well as your outer strength and creativity. And I see that as, it's either you creating a family, you know, you maybe that's your role.
Hmm.
You may have deeper purposes, like creating a business, or you've got a big mission or a project like charity work, or you know, your destiny is kind of what you had signed up for in your soul contract, and how to get there quicker with less steps, being able to navigate choices and being able to connect with, well, what would be what's your highest possible future? And if you have choices between working with, you know, different options, you'd be able to also connect to that future and see, was that the best path for me, or is it not? And or is there even another path that I wasn't aware of? So
Hmm.
it's starting to, again, it's just increasing the scope for visions. Instead of it being narrow, what we're doing is we're helping people to get greater clarity and greater vision about where they're going and what steps they should be focusing on. So for myself, when I did the training, and it was automation, really simple, but she said to me, get automating, do things, basically just make life simple. So things like that, again, it's yourself giving you the best advice and helping you navigate to just make the best choices in the shortest amount of time. I see it also as a way of, when you can be more successful, you can have more time to live and do more of the things that you enjoy as well. For me, mission and life are the same, but I do also enjoy creating and doing all the fun stuff. And I also do enjoy resting, because I work quite hard all day and I'll work until I kind of fall asleep, sort of thing. But I like to also create spaces where I can just be like, I'm just going to read my book for the day, or read my books, and there might be business books, but making this space for that is really important. Yeah, because
Hmm.
if you don't do it, it's you're never going to put it into your schedule. Like for me, I'm also writing my book about my transformational experience from trauma and mental health, and fixing myself kind of through spiritual awakening, and then also coming out the other side and realizing that the only person that's truly going to help me is me, and I have to become best friends with myself and not treat myself as an enemy, which had happened in the past. But again, that's that self-love journey, and it takes time,
Hmm.
but it's so sweet when you get there. And you also find that you shed a lot of the old, any challenges that you may have been continually looping in this lifetime, and then you'll probably find out it was also from past lifetimes as well.
Hmm.
So it does, it helps, that basically just giving you as graceful a ride in your life as possible. And I think that's priceless. I mean, if you can shave off years from your life and be able to get what you need to get done, um, and also knowing what should I be focusing on right now?
Yeah.
What's the one thing I should be focusing on for this next year?
Oh yeah.
And again, it comes with the brutal honesty. So yeah, it's fab.
I love it. I love it. And that's, I think such such a powerful piece of working with the future, whether it be more the business focus of
Mhm.
future vision, or the more general focus of future life progression, where it's not just um it's not just dreaming up these visions of something. It's not just like, oh well, I'd love to do that someday. Oh well, I'd love to build that business, or I'd love to make that home, or I'd love to build that community, whatever it might be. But being able to get that clarity on exactly like you said, those steps to get there,
Yeah.
and understanding at least those pieces that are necessary for you to get going, because so often we are like in this fog, or I know for myself, like the indecision of which is going to be best can just be an endless like back and forth looping around and around and around, and then you never go anywhere, you never build anything. And
Mm.
Corbin and I have been reading this book. It's called ET 101, and it was recommended by Solrita, who's been on the channel, and I know a bunch of people in the chat have gotten this book as well. But this book is basically a guide for us ETs who have incarnated on this planet and are trying to figure this out. And it's such a funny book, but one of the topics that we covered recently was this concept of now, and the time is now, and this concept of what does now mean. And they've laid it out just beautifully in the sense of you know, the now is just signaling to you, like, start building that new earth now. Start acting like you're that new version of you, that future version of you now, because now is all there is. And I think so many people can get lost in that, well, I'm just not quite ready, or I don't know where to start, or it's overwhelming. And trust me, I know. I've been overwhelmed and I've been stressed, and I still have those moments for
Mm.
sure. I think we all do. I mean, that's part of the journey for most of us. And I think the power of tapping into the future, though, like this, is getting that extra push to actually get started, because you can do this and you can build it. And it does take action on your part, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that what, like you said, like expanding the vision, expanding people's horizons, their
Mhm.
understanding, their scope of what they're looking at. It's so cool. I love it.
Yeah. And it's important as it really can free you from feeling stuck. And that stuckness is, it's like it really is like your chakras are blocked, because it's you kind of got an idea, but then it gets stuck, and then get you kind of get frozen. And then if there's old trauma that hasn't been resolved as well, that could be coming up, and then you further stuck. So it's basically the best way to get through it is by keep moving and taking action and finding ways to get clarity about what it is you actually want from life. And if you want to have love in your life but you're not with anyone, then you have to start treating yourself with the love that you would want someone else to show you.
Hmm.
Very done. That's it's again, all of these things sound so simple, but they're so profound, and they are literally life changing. And it doesn't really matter how long it takes. It takes as long as it needs to take, but what you're doing is you're constantly fine tuning your frequency. So if it's, I want more love in my life, I want to be in a happy, loving relationship, start buying yourself flowers, go for facials, go for massages, take yourself out, have a nice coffee date by yourself, and go take a book, do things that is just for you. Learn to love yourself in that way. And then it also creates space in your heart that when the right person does come along, they've got a match. You've set the bar, so the
Hmm.
people around you always reflect that the bar that you set. So if there's any disrespect, where in your life are you being disrespectful to yourself? But if you've got beautiful love around you, that is also reflecting back the love that you have for yourself, which comes back out, and then it's just this beautiful love cycle that keeps flowing round.
Hmm.
And it's the same with your clarity and your vision, and you're taking action. You've got the idea. Great. Now come up with a plan, however that might be, work with anyone or just work with yourself. Come up with a strategic plan of, if I want to go there, what are the steps I need to do to get there? And then start working on it.
Hmm.
And if you need to find people along the way to help you, great. If you just want to use AI and ChatGPT to help you, great. I mean, or you just want to meditate and do it, anyone can do anything, but it takes dedication to just sit with yourself and be really real about what you want from life and what steps you can take. And sometimes you might have to wait and save up to get a session, but it's so worth the while. Like,
Hmm.
it's this is such valuable technology, if you see it like that, being able to connect to your wherever you are in your timeline. I mean, this is the lifetime that literally everything's at your fingertips, the opportunities to shift burden and baggage from you from past lifetimes, and also be able to dissolve and resolve any karma that you've had as well by rising above the situation, not retaliating in pain or anger or hurt, and finding what's the best way for me to navigate through life that is in the highest level of love and with the highest integrity. It doesn't matter what anyone else does or says. That's their baggage, that's their karma. Let them do whatever they want to do. It doesn't really matter. Just keep focusing on you. Don't just almost ignore what anyone else is doing, Don't do the comparative competing thing. Oh, Ocean knows it. Yeah, and life is a gift. Everyone is a gift. Everyone's a unique gift. And if we all remember that, just do what we love, do what is unique and special for us, and that's the magic that we are all bringing to the earth right now. And that's what helps to raise the frequency, and that's what helps to have a happy, loving, peaceful place, is everyone being on purpose, doing what they love, being kind to one another, and just saying, let bygones be bygones about the past. Let's start a fresh chapter now, moving forwards.
Mm-hmm.
You can waste so much energy holding grudges. I mean, people do it for thousands, eons. I mean,
Yep.
what's the point? Literally, what's the point? Create. Be, if you are a fragment of God, then behave like God. Create. Be, just be. Just be.
Love it. I love it. Jennifer's speaking so much wisdom right now, says Emma, and I totally agree. I also love what Lisa is saying here. Isn't it beautiful that we as a collective have arrived at this place where we have these beautiful conversations? I know. It really is so cool. And, like you were saying, Jennifer, the context of this lifetime and being at this point, I mean, I know each generation, each lifetime has its purpose and has uh, its charm or its beauty, its special moment, right? But I really do think we're onto something with like this being such a profound lifetime,
Yeah.
and the ways that, like you said, the consciousness technology, the ways that we're able to tap into our consciousness, and also, the ways that more of the mainstream science is coming alongside and starting to connect some of these dots in a different way, in a way that other people can understand. I mean, I
Mm,
think the ways that the science is starting to match up with the spirituality on the quantum, and the ways that spirit may work, and I think we're starting to have more of this synthesis that's going to lead us to even more people tapping into these alternate forms of healing, these alternate forms of connection and creation too, because
mm,
exactly right, we're here to create. We're here to create our lives, to create art, beauty, love,
yeah.
whatever it might be. And I love it so much. Before we move on to anything else, I just have to say happy birthday to Ocean. Thank you so much for joining us in the chat today, and I hope you're having a beautiful day that is just as lovely and wonderful and full of light as you are. So thank you so much, Ocean, for joining us, and happy solar return to you.
Oh, you have a lovely audience. You
I
have a
do.
lovely
I
audience.
do. They are wonderful people, and they're talking about crystals in the chat. I try not to get just too distracted by the chat, but sometimes I'm like, what are you guys saying?
It's nice. I like that.
It is. It is. While we're paused here, I wanted to pull up and show folks your essential oil blends here.
Yes.
And I think that would be a great topic to jump into next, because I really want to explore that a little bit more with you. Um, but for those of you watching, I definitely recommend going and checking these out. I mean, they're really, really wonderful. The combinations that you have, I mean, definitely some of them are very unique, like ones that I haven't necessarily seen before. And
Mm,
I want to hear kind of your process. So I guess I'll open the floor to you of what do you want to share first about the botanicals and how essential oils maybe came into your life a little bit more. I know you mentioned it in your journey here, but yeah, I'll give you the mic because I want to hear. I'm so excited.
nice. So essential oils were introduced to me when I was 16 years old. So that was more than half my life ago now. And I had burnt myself quite badly on my foot. And I was using tea tree and lavender, I think. Tea tree was good because it was helping to dry the skin and keep it clean. And it's like the worst place. Anywhere where there's movement, it's harder to it just takes a bit longer to heal. But I found that it was so remarkable with my body that it was just allowing me to heal much quicker. There have been instances where I've used essential oils and burnt myself, so it is very important that uh, to dilute your oils at times. I mean, most of the time, lavender, if you ever get a burn, and you have some like a good high grade essential oil, lavender in your kitchen, you can put it on neat and it will stop your skin from burning and scarring as well. So I love the botanical blends. I intuitively sat down, and it was from the last few years, from 2020 moving onwards, and I wanted to create products that were able to support people physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So I created a range. The first 3 were for adults, and then the following 3 from 4 to 6 were basically similar to what the adults were, but they were child friendly, and some even from 7 months old. Basically giving people a bit of a toolkit that they could use at home if they had any kind of ailment. Again, I want to give people the opportunity to help themselves, and it's relatively very, like, price wise, it's a good investment to have in your cupboard. You might not use it all the time, or you might use it often, but the best thing about essential oils is, especially if it's for emotional, mental, spiritual, enlivening, and it helps to uplift your spirit. You can dilute it and balm it on your body. You can make a little go a really long way, so it's very affordable. And the best thing about working with the plants is they do hold a higher frequency. It is higher dimensional frequencies that they hold. So my number 5 is, I call it cosmic calm, and it's so peaceful and loving. Thank you, Britt. It's so peaceful and loving on the heart that I found, and I used my oils as well. So I had developed them, and I was still going through the motions of transforming and purging myself. But number 5 is fantastic for if you've got any like relationship challenges, you're feeling a lack of love. It's very protective. You can add a drop to your hands, just 1 drop, do that, smell. You can put it on a flannel, like a wet flannel towel, and use it when you're in the shower. Or you can balm your body after. There's so many different ways. I know sometimes people aren't always necessarily like, oh, I'm going to be dynamic and I can use it for lots of different things. That's why I'm now considering what products could I make that will help people, so they don't have to worry about diluting it or how much do I use. So that'll be the next arena for me to start developing this year, is those conscious botanical products. So, and it is an alchemy process, because I really want to take people from where they are before using the essential oils to afterwards being better than when they've from before. So it can be such a profound experience and subtle shifts, but that every single day working with flower essences or botanical essential oils, they just bring, they have brought me so much peace and love, and also integration as well. I created the 7th one I created was called Soul Retrieval, and it's quite an earthy blend. There's also silver birch in it. And I didn't even know they did that as an essential oil, but I doused it and that's what came through. And it's very healing, it's very integrative. So if you were to have any kind of soul retrieval experience, even doing past life regression, any kind of I suppose cosmic reintegration of yourself, using essential oils are really fabulous to help anchor that part of you, and also helps you to stay in a positive light and bring these harmonious parts back to you in love as well. So they are fabulous tools. They're fabulous spiritual tools, which then spill over to every part of your life and your well-being and your health and happiness. It's not a one drop fixes all, but it does help as part of your toolkit.
Oh, absolutely. And I just love the synchronicities too, because in the past week I got a cold sore from stress and I used tea tree oil, and it was the first time I've used tea tree oil. I mean, I don't get them super often. It usually is stress related or sick, like I'm getting a cold and I'm worn down.
Mhm.
But the tea tree oil worked so much better than any of those medications you get over the, from the pharmacy, and was, a fraction of the price. I mean, I used, a handful of drops a day versus that the little thing of Abreva is like $40 or something like that. I mean, it's just insane.
Yeah.
Um, but truly it's been great, and Corbin shouted out the tea tree in the chat. And then just as recent as today, this afternoon, I made a roller ball for a friend. It's her birthday today, so I'm going to a party tonight, and I'm gonna bring her a little roller ball that I made that was Gemini themed, because obviously she's a Gemini.
Oh, fabulous. So am I.
Yes. Oh my gosh,
You
when's your birthday?
22nd.
Gosh.
Yeah,
Well, happy
22nd.
late birthday to you.
Thank you very much, but it's
Mhm.
lovely speaking to you either side of my birthday, so that's lovely.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Hang out all month.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, and like Lynn is saying, Jennifer's oil sounds like they could help with Jake's sessions too. Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's that soul retrieval work, that quantum integration. I mean, definitely something that you could pair with your essential oils. And I mean, I definitely think that there's so many different ways that you can combine things, and that's where listening to your own intuition, not necessarily what someone else tells you should do, like listening to your own intuition of like what's going to be best for me, what's going to be the best combination for me.
Mm,
Because similar to like we talk about with our work and helping people find these answers within themselves and this insight and this clarity within themselves, you have the power and you have the insight to help yourself. And definitely there is value in doing a little research, especially with oils and stuff. You don't want to hurt yourself unnecessarily, because
mhm,
there is a lot of wisdom out there and you can easily learn these things and check them out. But I think that especially with application, as far as like with a session or before a session, I mean, I've had people talk about using these tools like leading up to the session as well, like prepping themselves and getting in that space beforehand to really maximize their experience too. So I mean, like you said, Jennifer, there's so many different ways that you can utilize these powerful plant medicines. And
mm,
um, I wanted to ask you too. I had heard someone talking about essential oils as like the blood of plants, and I want to say it was on Deep Dives in the Desert with Lisa and Dr. Charneil, I think.
okay.
Um, but this concept of the oils and
Mm,
kind of their essence
yeah.
essentially in how they operate. I'd love to hear your take on that, or if you have a similar view or a different view, I'd love to hear.
Yes, because not all essential oils are the same. The oils that I source are the highest frequency oils I've met and used personally, and I'm a sensitive soul, and I know when things work well and when they're kind of a bit off.
Hmm.
So, absolutely in that plants, yeah, when you get that distillation, it is a distillation of their essence. That's their frequency key. It's beautiful, and it can unlock things within you. Again, how was that plant treated? Were the crops monocrops, or were they wild crafted, which means they're just naturally happening and growing, and then people come and harvest them, which are actually far more powerful than the monocrops. So
Mm-hmm.
wildcrafted has a higher frequency, a higher strength, so you don't need to use as much, but it is more expensive versus just an organic version of it, which I would still always recommend. If you can go organic, it's worth it. Anything that we put on our bodies, we have to be really mindful about what we're doing, because our skin is our largest organ. That's why balming your body after a bath or a shower with your carrier oil of choice, it might be almond oil, it might be jojoba oil, which is, I mean, beautiful, is quite expensive. Again, what's your budget? How often are
Mm-hmm.
you doing things? What's your skin type like? Are you having outbreaks? Have you got hormonal issues? And using the botanicals along the way to assist you with that. So I've been using my number 5. I use it on my face. I put a little bit of almond oil, and then I might also use different carrier oils at points as well to just assist my skin. It's still not 100% balanced yet, but it's well on the way, and it was far better. Been the best it's ever been now than it has been in a good 10 years. So
Mm.
my inner healing journey, it's always still developing, and I'm always learning, and I'm just, see when things pop up and I drop things that I've been doing that don't serve me anymore, or I start new things and trying new habits that, that discipline, that consistency. Again, it's you always showing up for yourself. And plants are a really good way to help clear the mind chatter. So again, what's your favorite kind of essential oils? What kind of smells do you go for? Like citrus, flower, earthy?
I would say more earthy.
Okay, so like kind of like more of the frankincense, myrrh sort of vibe.
Yeah, like sage. I mean, there's some of the floral too that I like. I would say citrus in like moderation. Like some of them
Mm,
it's like very cleaner to me, or like floor cleaner, or dish
yeah.
soap. Like it gives me that vibe. And so I feel like it's got to be the right combination. But yeah,
Mm,
the earthy ones are always solid for me.
nice. So you can almost look at essential oils and flowers and botanicals as a reference point to what you need in your own life. So if you're finding that you're seeking more grounding essential oils, it's more likely than not that you require that grounding, that earthy, that protection from Gaia with you, however that looks.
Hmm.
I love both of those. Also, really good for the skin, skin rejuvenation. Look at any of the big brands, and they will be putting frankincense and myrrh in their products, but they will be using not as much and charging you a lot of money. So again, it's the big companies versus doing it yourself, or working with small, small not boutique, but like handmade, handcrafted essential oil blends, and
Hmm.
it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I just think that's such an important piece because so often, I mean, especially in our world where a lot of us are struggling financially. I mean, the world is a little wild right now, and especially for healers, it can sometimes be a ebb and flow. And I think
Mm,
that the financial piece of investing in the handmade, I mean, it goes beyond just getting something that's organic or that's more natural. I mean, it's about who is crafting that, whose energy is going into that, and how, what's the process, what's the environment, what's, the energy around throughout the whole life cycle of that.
mm,
And especially when you're working with something like essential oils, like you want to make sure that that is something that's good and that is the most optimized for your well-being. And not only that, but the plants too, of course. But I just the comment about all of the big brands kind of co-opting or kind of bastardizing this concept of essential oils and working them in, but in a lesser way and in a more dim way. I was reminded of the ways that so often our medications and our prescriptions are made from minerals or made from crystals. And
mm,
um, I think it was lithium is in mood stabilizing drugs, and lithium in crystals oftentimes signifies that it's going to be more stabilizing and grounding and help you with that mental calm. And so I just always find it fascinating when we can see these moments the with the systems that be and the ways that they've taken things and taken these truths and use them for their benefit, while
mm.
at the same time telling us that we're crazy and that we, are full of it for whatever we're believing in.
Yeah, and we know that's all part of the plan to
Of
keep
course.
people not in their power and not being awake to their own inner knowing, and their inner truth as well, as to what is right, what is wrong, where's the moral and ethical compass in the world. Because if you've grown up and it's always been a certain way, unless people question it, they don't. This is really inherent deep programming in their subconscious mind as to what is right and what is wrong. And oftentimes with this the spiritual awakening, well, one, you end up questioning everything, which can take you
Yep.
down that dark rabbit hole, and then you're like, I just want some peace now. I just want some peace, and that involves me not going down these rabbit holes again. Everyone has their karma. Big companies have their karma. Individuals have their own karma, but it's who do you resonate with? Who do you trust with? With the products that you will be putting on yourself and putting in yourself. If you're drinking water, can you trust that it's clean?
Mm-hmm.
For many, not. Even in the Western world, where we've got fresh water from the tap, which is
Fresh water.
fresh water, yeah, but in other places they don't have fresh water, so in that is like, that's a blessing in itself. So
Yeah.
we have gratitude for that, but then we dig a little deeper and say, but how clean is it? Like, if we're always living life where we can improve it, that means things are always changing and evolving and not being attached to old things unless the old things still serve. But if there's things in the water that shouldn't be there, and that's poisoning your health over a long period of time, then you have to really ask yourself, well, who is this benefiting? Because it's not me. So someone's
Mm-hmm.
benefiting here, and it's not me.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and I love that discernment came back up, because earlier you were talking about finding a practitioner that you trust, that you resonate with, that um, because I mean, especially in a world or realm like ours with hypnosis, I mean,
Mm.
hypnotherapy is not the most regulated thing out in the world, and in some ways that's a blessing. In other ways, that can lead to people doing things that they maybe aren't trained properly to do, or they haven't had the experience to do. And I think whether it be looking for a practitioner, or looking for a doctor, or looking for an essential oil, or trying to figure out what water filtration system is going to be best for you, so often we try to find the answers outside of ourselves. And it really is, I think, one of our collective lessons in this lifetime. And I don't think it's necessarily a new lesson either, but I think we're in that next level of learning this discernment piece. And I think that as a collective, we are being given these opportunities that are giving us that opportunity to discern, to go within and listen to that urge, that voice, that message saying, don't do that, that's not for you, or go this way, this is what you should do. I mean, the discernment piece, I think, is a huge part of what we're doing
Yeah.
right now.
That is a spiritual awakening. When you start to question things, like, yeah, that doesn't feel the same as it did before, and I don't feel good. So, what is it? Why is that? And how can I change it? Uh,
Hmm.
and it can drive people mad. It drove me mad for a while, but it's also took me on a path where I was like, no, I need to find peace within myself, because and then the peace will also surround me. You have to cultivate it inwardly in order to experience it externally. It does go hand in hand. Sometimes you
Hmm.
have to radically change things and move locations, move home, get away from toxic relationships or partners that aren't doing you any good, and they aren't going to change. You may have the highest perception of some people, if that are in their highest, like they're in a high vibration, or they're in a higher vibration than their partner, especially at the beginning, they will see their highest potential. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to take it. Also, you'll probably end up receiving red flags, but then you think, oh no, either I can change that person, or no, it'll be fine, and then you brush it away. And that's where these are where those trauma loops and these relationship karmic cycles start, and they just keep repeating because you're not being honest with yourself enough to say, is this the best for me?
Hmm.
And if it's not, it's okay. And it's not, life isn't about making mistakes. It's about having experiences and then being able to readjust your path when you go, oh, hang on a second. You know what? I think I'm done with this lesson now. And I want to have the best possible life for myself. And what does that involve? Having more clarity, having focus, having purpose, starting a new career, whatever it might be. Just, you do it for yourself, and if it can benefit others, you will have even more love and more light within yourself that will continue to overflow. But you have to have the balance as well. Have enough money to feed yourself and do what you need to do. And if you can, volunteer a bit of time as well. There are other people that then they're in a worse place than you are, and I've been there myself as well. I know what it's like having no money, and it's really challenging, but it didn't ever stop me from wanting to better myself and doing anything I could, even if it was free on YouTube, to learn things to better myself. There's so much out there, and there isn't any excuses for anyone to say I can't do it. It's like, no, you're just not asking the right questions. How can I do this? Not I can't do this. How can I do this?
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that brings us back around to this idea of like, we are creators and we are here to create. And when you're in that victim mindset, when you're in that framework of like, everything's terrible around me, my life's horrible, like, look at all of these things happening to me, look at all of these things happening to everyone else.
Yeah.
And of course it's, like I say all the time, like, not burying your head in the sand and pretending that everything's, rainbows and butterflies, because it's not. But
not all the time.
exactly. But it really is about recognizing the power that you have and understanding that you do have that power to shape and change your life. And how that will change, I mean, that's up to you, and that's up to your karma, your life path, your purpose here in this lifetime. And that's where some of the future exploration can help you understand, or dipping into the past and understanding where you've come from as well can help with that journey too. But yeah, I think it's really about stepping into your power and understanding that you are that creator, you are that co-creator with the universe. And you got this, even in those challenging moments, because most of us aren't here for the smoothest ride. Some of us are, absolutely, but we probably had a tough lifetime last time, or we're gearing up for something really horrible next. So it's all about that balance.
Yes, and what you do now in this life also prepares you for your next lifetime. And that's another good reason why actually connecting to your future self with a future life progression session is to be able to help yourself in the future as well. So it's always like, I have my back because I'm taking the steps to be the best version of me. So it doesn't matter where I am in my timeline. We are all aligned. We are integrated at a soul level. We've learnt the lessons, the karmic lessons, and we're also creating dharma because we're doing good in the world. We're doing good for ourselves. We're doing good for others. And it's really important. Like, Earth needs us right now. She needs us to be happy and in love and creating, and also dealing with the shadows and the things that are hurting us, because the things that we don't deal with, she experiences the pain that we suffer too. So it is that internal suffering, external suffering. And the more we come to the, how can I find peace and create peace within me, your frequency will raise, and everyone around you will also experience a shift as well. And this is how we do collective healing, is work on yourself. And it's really easy if people come from a childhood where they're sensitive, they're empaths, they're healers, they're artists, and they want to help others in the world, but they've had an experience where they've been helpless, where something's happened and they've been disempowered, and they may have gone into more of a victim consciousness. And in order to get out of that, we need to flip the switch. We need to flip the story and the narrative, so you can start living your true self, what you were meant to be here for. No one is meant to suffer and be in pain any longer than necessary. Sometimes it's needed in order to wake us up and move us in the direction. If we haven't been listening, sometimes we need a hard mental health breakdown or something traumatic that happens that says, I need to readjust my life. This isn't working for me. I can't go on like this, because otherwise I won't be going on. You know,
Mm-hmm.
these are the important the questions that we need to talk to ourselves. Yes, 10% problem.
Right.
And
I love
also 50% is acknowledging the fact that there's a problem in the first place. You're already half the way there to resolving it if you would even acknowledge that it exists.
Mm-hmm.
So I like those maths, and it is true. I've felt that within myself. The times when I've been in my deepest, darkest moments, and I've been honest with myself, and that brought me so much light and feeling free to a degree. I was like, yeah, no, I need to do this for me now. I need to do
Mm-hmm.
this for me now. And
Mm-hmm.
life shifts and changes and gets better. It does. But you have to keep choosing love in the process.
Absolutely. That's the thing. The choices keep coming. As soon as you solve one lesson, the next lesson pops up. And that's both the beauty and sometimes maybe the frustration too. We can sometimes get a little worn down and say, well, why did I plan this again? This is a lot. This is back to back to back. Like, what's going on? Can we get a moment of calm? And your higher self is like, well, you're here for this. Just get it done, and then you can have something else afterwards.
And often it's like you are given what you can deal with, and sometimes it can be very challenging, but knowing tools, techniques, having a good support system, having a community,
Hmm.
this is a beautiful space for people to come that are like-minded, that would maybe even be going through life at a similar pace as well, like awakening to things. And also knowing that, I you know when you have greater uh discernment for yourself and your environment, you do start to make better choices, I've found.
Hmm.
And you stop blaming everyone as well. Because we're all going through an experience, and if you're getting triggered by someone, it's probably because you've got that trigger in you somewhere, or you have that behavior. And I don't know if you have this saying in the States, is like, it's that frenemy, is like your enemy, but you're kind of friends. Like, yeah, because you're so similar and you act like a mirror to each other. And you're like, oh God, I hate when that person does this. She's like, do you do that? If you held a mirror to yourself, where in your life do you do that?
Hmm.
Now are you getting quite so annoyed at it? Because as soon as you have that awareness of yourself, you stop getting annoyed at other people, because you're like, "Hey, I've been there." And then you just shrug things off. Honestly, it's that brings you peace. That it just stop if when you stop blaming other people and just come back to yourself, that is enough to bring you peace. And every moment in your day, whether it's someone's trying to cut you up in the car, is like, cool, just let them go ahead. They need to be somewhere much quicker than me.
My favorite saying is "should have left yesterday." Corbin and I say that all the time when people just speed past us. Uh, all right. Well, we are a little bit over the hour here, and we are getting lots of requests for part two. So I might have to have you back
Oh,
on, Jennifer,
lovely.
because yeah, everyone loved the chat today. We've got lots of love in the chat,
Oh,
and people saying that they enjoyed it. So thank you all for joining us today. Before we go, did want to boop, 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 pop back up. A reminder that my workshop is coming up in just about a month. The tickets are live on my site. If you go over to the bookings, you'll find right there under group workshops, you can get your ticket for $22. This is going to be on a Sunday evening. So for some folks who have not maybe been able to make the Saturday ones, hoping this one works for you guys. I've also got Jennifer's website up too. Make sure you guys go over, check out her website, check out her bookings. And if she's resonating, if her message is resonating with you, I definitely encourage you guys to book because as you can tell, she's a good soul. She's got great energy. And I know that her experiences are transformational, just like mine are, because we very much resonate. Soul family vibes for sure.
yeah, definitely. Thank you.
And make sure you guys go over and sub to her YouTube. Also, check out my interview on her podcast, 108 Healing Senses. It was really fun to have that conversation. And for those of you who enjoyed us today, you can get more before part two happens.
Yes.
All right. Jennifer, any last words for the audience? Anything else you want to share before we go?
I suppose all I would say is hang in there when time gets challenging and just love and appreciate all of the sweetest moments with yourself and your beloveds and with Earth and Gaia and nature. Like, whatever moment that you can just appreciate the love and the warmth and laugh, just follow that. And whatever your passions are, follow that too, because it will always just bring you more joy, more energy to spark every aspect of your life. So yeah.
Hmm. I love that. So well put. Because yeah, where your focus goes, your energy flows. And when you focus on the love, when you take the time to laugh, and
Mhm.
you focus on those positive moments in your life, those positive things in your life, that signals to the universe like, this is what I want. Give me more of this.
Yeah.
And remember, the universe doesn't always determine or tell the difference between like, I don't want this versus I do want this. You got to focus on what you do want, so you draw that to you. So, all
Wonderful.
right. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jake. It's been a pleasure, and thank you to your beautiful audience. And I very much look forward to coming back on for part 2. And we'll have to come. You come on again, Mike. We'll do a part 2 for you as well. So,
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, everyone. All the love to you guys in the chat, and hope everyone has a good night or a good morning or good afternoon whenever you're watching this. All right. Bye, everyone.
all right, bye for now. Thanks.